We have a saying in the motor trade, nice cars aren't cheap and cheap cars aren't nice. However, when it comes to a certain type, that phrase is kind of turned upside down. And it scares me. Now, I don't want you to think that this is just EVs that this happens to, because it's not. It's petrol cars as well. What scares me is petrol cars are a known quantity, and whatever you say, they can be put out quite easily. EVs can't. You can't put them out.
Because essentially electric vehicles can't be put out. Don't believe anybody that tells you they can. What's the problem with lithium-ion batteries? Okay, number one, they shouldn't exist. They're thermodynamically unstable.
One of these is going to cause massive loss of property or massive loss of life. And it's only a matter of time. And I keep banging on about this, but I want to show you why. And I want to show you, basically, there are people amongst you, I would say that they are no better than terrorists, because they're basically sending a bomb out into the open.
Tesla drove over some debris, punctured the battery case. Some time later, he parked up in a garage and up it went. 6 seconds from the first appearance of the vapor cloud.
Oh, Baz, you're exaggerating. No, I'm not. I'm honestly not. Let me show you. Be aware. Make sure when you're buying a car, make sure you are not getting one of these. I keep going on about Auto Trader. There's a lot of things I don't like about Auto Trader. There's a lot of things I don't like about other car sales media. There's a lot of things I don't like about the way unrecorded write-offs get back into the system and you don't know anything about them. You could buy one unsuspectingly off a main dealer. Yes, a main dealer. At the end of the day, you might think main dealers are better than independents, but in fact, they're probably worse. When it comes to vehicles being slipped past them, they are worse, trust me. I've worked in main dealers, I've worked in independents, and I've worked for myself. So I do know. Let me just show you these. Auto Trader, into the search, and into filters, scroll to the bottom, seller type, previously written off. That's what we want. Show only write-offs. There are 30 out of 430,000 cars, there are 13,000 write-offs, vehicles that have been written off by insurance companies because they're uneconomic to repair. Now, it doesn't mean they can't be repaired. It means that by the time the insurance company is paid out for perhaps a hire car while the vehicle's been off the road and the parts and the labour, it's often cheaper to just pay them out, minimise the use of the hire car and so on. There is an unscrupulous part. I was going to say the motor trade, but they're not really the motor trade. What they are is criminals, in my view. There's a certain part, you can buy cars, you can basically buy a logbook on eBay. Why do people do that? Why do people advertise such and such a thing plus logbook? Because they know very well that some people out there will just go and steal a car. They won't repair something, they'll just go and steal a car and clone it with a logbook. That's what they'll do. No getting around it. That's what a certain element will do. And that's not just people pushing logbooks and chassis on eBay. It's also the insurance companies, because the insurance companies know they're just as bad. They know that they will get more money for an unrecorded write-off in a salvage auction than they will if it's recorded. They know very well, and they do it. The powers that be know it. And it's allowed to continue. Now, at least with Auto Trader, you've got a chance, because insurance write-offs are marked But a lot of people still don't know that it's an insurance write-off. I've not seen any for a while because I've not actually been doing this, but I used to do this religiously when I was trying to get Auto Trader to mark all the write-offs with like a big flashing light. They've done it with a little orange marker, but it should be on each photograph so nobody can, misinterpret it. It should also say CAT S insurance write-off, not CAT S, because you get other people putting CAT S, like dealers, they put CAT S in the description and it'll say something like CAT S Thatcham approved alarm. So they've got the CAT S in, but they conveniently miss a comma out. So it looks like, and somebody will think it's CAT S. Somebody's CAT S, ABS. Oh, great, it's got CAT S. I was talking to a young lady once who was telling me about her boyfriend's car. Fuel injection had only just come out, and it was an XR3. And she said, oh yeah, he's got an XR3. And I said, is it fuel injected? And she says, oh, it's been fuel injected twice. Even back then, fuel injection, some people didn't know what it meant. Having said that, I was also talking to a very, very nice sales rep from the Lancashire Evening Post, and she was leaving to go to another job. She was going to work for another advertising agency. And I said, oh, is it a big place? And she said, they've got offices all over the universe. And I said, wow, that is big. Back to write-offs here. So let's just see. Nice cars aren't cheap. Cheap cars aren't nice. What would you call cheap? We'll go to the filter. That's showing relevance, how you can have a relevant search on write-offs. I'll never know how is one write-off more relevant to you than another. But here we go. You've got prices, high to low. Nice cars aren't cheap, and cheap cars aren't nice. Wow. £199,995. Now, the problem there is there's no registration on that vehicle. There is a way of getting the registrations, but unfortunately on that vehicle, looks like it's had a private plate from new, and they've got it all covered up, so I can't get that one. But £199,995. Now, that's category S, structural damage. Does it say anything? Is it, let's have a look, more seller information. It says their registration will revert back to RJ23AKO, RJ23AKO. We'll search that. This registration is currently not attached to any vehicle, so I can't search it. But I can tell you this, I dread to think what that vehicle looks like at the salvage auction, if there's any photos. Back to results, there's a Porsche here, Porsche 911. This was first advertised, 1st to the 3rd, 2025. It's 2,000 miles, it's still for sale. Category S. Look at this, look. Looks like a beautiful car. There's a partial registration there. I did manage to get the registration number and I checked it out. It was written off in December 2023 and then somebody bought it 3rd of January 2024. Now that could be the person who's repaired it. But when you go into the history, Friday the 22nd, I can't actually show you these photos because on the photos it said reuse is strictly prohibited by Copart Incorporated. In all honesty, I don't think that should be allowed. It really shouldn't. But if you were to check that car yourself, you will be able to see the photos and it's not very pleasant. That's the Porsche. There's a Ferrari here. That's only a Cat D. Cat S here, Mercedes-Benz G-Class, Cat S, 130,000. What does it take to write off a Mercedes-Benz G-Class when, you know, they are military vehicles when all's said and done? Lovely Maserati MC20 there. Cielo Spider. Cielo, does that mean sky? CAT S 129,000. That's been for sale since March 2025. So all these vehicles, Maserati there, Lamborghini Huracan, £120,000, 120 grand, McLaren GTS, Porsche 718 Cayman. Let's go to electric cars. Previously written off, 401 previous write-offs, and then sort. Here we go. So the first one, the very first one, listed 31st of 12th, 2025. WK25ZWR. Now we'll go to VCheck. There you go, important. There are potential issues with this vehicle. Please review the report below carefully. WK25ZWR. And we go down. Date of first registration, 22nd of May 2025. So what is it, 7 months old? Auction and salvage history, 24th of November 2025. Previous keepers. This is important. 1. Current, 22nd of May 2025, 8 months and 10 days. Only one owner, so technically that's showing that it's the same owner, so it's a one owner from new. But here we go, 24th of November 2025, at 8,115 miles, salvage, 24th of November. So it's been in the salvage auction on the 24th of November. That guy had it from the 22nd of May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So he had it 6 months, then wrote it off. It's in a salvage auction, 8,115 miles, but it's only showing one owner. So it must have gone into trade hands. Otherwise, if it had gone to a private, there would be a new owner. Let's have a look at the photos. Monday 24th of November, it was in the salvage auction. There we go, CAT S Structural, Bristol, 8,115 miles. You see there, it doesn't look horrendous from the front. Check forward safety system, that's probably a parking sensor, and the radar damaged, the Distronic system damaged. You'll see there, airbag is out on the side. Back door, is that kinked backwards? I don't know, but it looks like it's open or not shut properly. I don't see why that would be, but you'll see there, look at the angle of that front wheel. Doesn't look very good, does it? And that's why it doesn't look very good. Looks like the wheel's pushed back against the wing to start off with. That's knocked that wing back against the door. All the front's smashed there. But in order to knock that back there, it's obviously knocked all the steering gear, the wishbone and everything backwards. Steering rack, everything's gone back. Not very nice. There was one picture that I actually specifically wanted to see, because it's the one of the driver's side. Right, so there. You'll see there that the seat there is ripped apart and the airbag has gone off in the front seat too. So you've got the curtain airbag there gone off. Side impact obviously, because the airbags haven't gone off in the dashboard or the steering wheel. So curtain airbag there, the airbag at the back and the seat airbags. I'm assuming there's one on that other side that might have gone off as well. If you look at the pictures here, you'll see somehow very carefully, let me just close them, we'll just go through them. You'll see the front, that's where it was damaged before. They're into full side on one because I'd like to just check the panel gaps. I'd like to check the panel gap there and the panel gaps in the midsection and the back there, just to see what they're like. I can't really tell from there. But one thing you don't see is this driver's seat. You don't see the driver's seat. I can't see the headlining. I'd want to be checking that driver's seat, to be fair, because whenever an airbag goes off, I was at a place of quite an unhappy time, to be honest, where I was working, because they kept buying cars from auctions, and they kept buying not nice cars from auctions, to be fair. One of the cars they got was a Honda Accord Estate, I think it was. And when we got it back, they'd sent a lad up to an auction in Scotland. He'd bought it, but he'd done the usual thing. Sat in the stands there, drinking coffee. Car comes in, he bids on it, it's a cheap car, he buys it. What he didn't do was go down, look round it, look inside it, because if he did, he would have seen that there was a piece of carpet glued to the dashboard on the passenger side. And also, the airbags, the curtain airbags had all gone off. When we got it back to the garage and checked it out, the other thing that happens in an impact is the seatbelt has a little explosive charge in, and it pulls the seatbelt tight so you don't shoot forward. So it pulls you back into the seat. So once you've had a crash, even your seatbelt anchor points need changing. There's a steel cable in it that pulls tight. So all the airbags and all the seat belt, all the plunk clicks, they all needed changing. And there's no way all the parts were more than the actual vehicle. You couldn't repair it, there's just no way. Certain things, the way the system recognises that there is a part there is because there's a resistance shown, and it measures the resistance. There is a way, I believe, of instead of putting an airbag in, you put a resistor. The next person that has an accident in that vehicle, God forbid, the airbags won't go off because they're not even there. Some of the vehicles with accident damage, that's the only way they can get them back on the road, either by cloning it, ringing it, whatever you want to do, or by buying second-hand parts, you don't know whether they're any good or not, or by not even putting them in the first place. The reason I've picked this one, so you can't see that seat, you know, you can't see if it's just been stitched up and a resistor put in, you don't know. It's outside a private house. There's no mention of a garage or it being trade. There isn't even any description. There's nothing. So there's nothing. Some people put in the advert, it's been an accident, you know, CAT S, pictures, got the pictures. This is clearly outside a private house. It clearly says private seller there. And then when you go to check road tax, WK25ZWR, WK25ZWR, that's the vehicle, black Hyundai, continue, untaxed, and it's not been taxed since the 17th of December. That's when it was written off. It's gone into somebody else's hands who must have put it into trade hands, otherwise it would show an extra owner. Tell me why. Tell me why that person has got an untaxed vehicle that's been repaired 22nd of November and it's for sale on Auto Trader. Why should that be? What legitimate reason has that guy got the vehicle and selling it on Auto Trader when it's untaxed and it's not showing another owner and he's a private seller? Can you think of any good excuse? You have to be so careful. As much as we were selling cars or more cars on the other platforms than we were on Auto Trader, if you're a private at this moment in time, check every vehicle. Make sure, even if the dealer has got a HPI check, check it yourself and check it on something like VCheck where you can check the salvage auctions. Otherwise, that car there, I'm not saying it is, but somebody could basically have given you the equivalent of a backpack with a bomb in to take and put at home in your garage. Would you do that? Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.